Hello and welcome back to my channel, and this is part 3 where Kashiba's going to be asking me various different questions as to why I choose to build differently as a founder. So looking forward to this one. I feel like I've got a hell of a lot to say again.
We always do.
Go on.
I'm excited for this. Okay, so obviously these are all questions about why you choose to build differently. Because knowing you, being in your world, I am pretty sure that every single thing that you're like, this is a trend, this is something people are copying, you're like, I want none of that. I want to be the complete opposite. I don't do hooks. I hate hooks. It's one of them that sticks with me a lot. And I have to go, I know this is a hook, Danielle, but hear me out a second.
Yeah.
Hear me out.
Yeah, definitely.
So, you build differently to most founders online. Why is that?
Do you know what? This links to the story that I shared today on Instagram, which I'm going to turn into a reel and a short and what have you. And because I'm such a completer finisher and I like to execute and get shit done, I just don't like the idea of having to constantly pull out a camera, and whether it be my phone or my Osmo, to basically create content within that moment, because it pulls me away from the real work that needs to be done in my business. And so when I'm honed in and focused, I'm just like, I'm deep in that work. And to have a camera be like, oh my gosh, like this is a content moment, take out the camera, it pulls me away from that. And I find I resent that. And so when it comes to YouTube, like I explained in the story today, I have no problem with sitting down and doing YouTube videos. Like I love this kind of stuff, and I love like doing the solo YouTube videos. For some reason, I have a love-hate relationship with short form content for sure. And that's something that I'm going to start changing because of that Yap challenge that I'm doing. But yeah, that's why I build differently, because I don't want to lose focus. And I don't want to be a content creator, even though I know I need to build awareness and put myself out there. So I've got to find my flow of doing it in a way where I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, I can get down with this.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It really is. You don't, because I have a perspective here as well. I'm like, the founders that are showing up online, especially the ones that are showing up online with the fake information and the flashiness and the flashy cars and everything, they're the founders that really want more work. You know, they're not necessarily looking to help people, they're looking to find the fastest route to success, and not always the most ethical route to success. So you saying that, you know, sometimes you haven't got time, you're in a mindset of you need to do this, need to do this, it's just because you care, and you're not just bringing out a product because you want to bring out something, you're doing it because you care about the people and you want to make a difference that is greater than just you.
Yeah, 100%, without a doubt. And, you know, it's just such a, I feel like it's just a different, it's how I operate as well. Like it's within my DNA. And so of course, to a degree, I'm like, okay, Danielle, maybe get out of your comfort zone with that. And so I'm pushing myself in different ways. But again, it has to be in a way which is authentic to me and makes sense to me for sure. So yeah.
Amazing. Interesting, because I feel like you're currently just coming back off of this, but you take breaks from Instagram.
Yes.
What are you protecting?
Yeah, what am I protecting? Okay, so I take mini breaks, and I recently took a mini break from Instagram because here's the deal as far as I'm concerned. Instagram, social media, you're digesting other people's lives. Like literally that's what it is. When you're scrolling, when you're watching something, you are digesting somebody's life, whether it's something they've created or not. And so for me, like spending that time doing that, this is why I don't follow a lot of people on Instagram, because I view Instagram from the lens of, I want to be able to build relationships with everyone that I'm following. I want to be able to have that headspace to engage with their content, to, you know, comment, to like, etc. And so that's why I operate that way. And also when it comes to Instagram, I only follow people via one account. So my family and close friends, I follow them via my private account. I will not follow them via the other accounts that I have because I don't want to see any double content. That's a waste of my time. So with ATHLETESIA, sometimes I will say to people who we've started to build a relationship, I'll be like, look, this is how I operate. Do you want me to continue following you here or via my personal brand account? But everything ATHLETESIA will stay here. So, you know, keep on following the brand here. And so that's what I do from that point. But when it comes to, you know, taking those breaks and why it's important, is because it allows me to just have a bit of a reset and refresh and focus away from the noise of it all. And even probably what I've learned from the last break that I've took is that I'm going to be a hell of a lot more disciplined with places like Instagram, because I don't want to be investing so much time on there. So I'm now going to be setting myself and saying, right, you can check in at this point, and this point, and that is it. Obviously on days where I'm actually posting and sharing content, that's slightly different, because I want to make sure that I'm keeping up with any comments, etc. But also what I found from this mini break, which I loved, is LinkedIn.
Oh,
And this is an interesting one. I need to grab some water, but...
oh, tell me more,
Yeah, oh my days. So LinkedIn, since within that mini break, a week and a bit, I built so many incredible relationships with other founders. I have tapped into so much content that has been beneficial to me for my business. I have also reached out to a brand about a brand partnership. There's somebody else who I'm reaching out to about a potential brand partnership as well. Don't know where they'll land. We'll see what happens, but you've got to shoot your shot, right?
Absolutely.
But it's one of those things where I'm like, actually, I've now created my algorithm on LinkedIn where it makes sense for me as a founder, and that is a beautiful thing. So going on places like LinkedIn, I don't mind being on there because I know what I'm digesting. I'm like, oh, let me save this. Let me screenshot this, you know, because it's something that is helpful and beneficial. So I'm looking at LinkedIn very differently, and I would say I want to start spending more time on LinkedIn for sure. For sure is one of my phrases, but yeah, I want to spend more time on LinkedIn.
Over Instagram? Or...
Over, you know what? It's a fine line. I think Instagram, I've got a core audience that is built there. It's also linked to ATHLETESIA with a collaboration post, etc. But I think in terms of showing up as a founder and sharing insights and the journey and stuff, I think LinkedIn is a place that I want to hone into, but I'm going to give myself time to do that. So yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Sorry, I don't know if that's part of your question where you said, what am I protecting? I think I'm protecting my peace of mind, you know, and being able to separate the noise from, you know, everything that goes on the platform.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
There's nothing else I can say that. Which makes so much sense,
Yeah.
especially with the way that the world is. And like, you know, I feel like we say this every year, but I think that things are getting more and more graphic in the sense of what we're consuming, the scarcity behind it. People are falling for marketing less, so marketing is getting even stronger. And so, yeah, peace of mind.
Yeah, peace of mind.
Talk to me about batch filming and shoot days.
Yes. So with my YouTube content, I batch record everything. And that's because it's so easy for me to sit down in one sitting and do, you know, 5 or 4 long form content videos. I love YouTube. I have to say, I love YouTube. And that's why it was important today doing this content shoot day to do long form content, because now I've got 4 weeks worth of content that I can drop one a week. And so it just helps me to know, right, the content is done. It's ready to go. I can breathe and I can focus on everything else that I need to, you know, my video editor, etc. She's going to deal with what she needs to. Then it's just a case of scheduling it and you know, seeing what happens from there. And, you know, short form content, when I was in a good space and I was consistent, then I was batch recording that. I think I'm going to try and take a different angle this time with doing some batch and doing things off the cuff, but I'm going to see how I get on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Interesting. Batch for YouTube makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So much sense, because obviously the amount of time it takes, the length of the video, the context, but with social media, you're right. I think it's important to have some wiggle room. I think it's important because I feel like social media is such a good expression of you in the moment. It's meant to feel quite instant. It's meant to feel like people have access to, you know, you in a different way, I'd say.
Yeah.
A little bit of a less polished way. So it makes sense with the Yap challenge for you to be putting more out there that's a little bit different.
Yeah. Definitely. And it's interesting that you mentioned polish, right? Because I think we spoke about this before, where authenticity doesn't mean struggle. And I think there's this whole thing where it's like people, oh, why does she show up like this? And you should just show up like this. Look, at the end of the day, let me tell you something about me. 9 times out of 10, I'm rocking like I'm a boy, okay? I'm hooded out. I, got my glasses on, my trainers on, no makeup and all the rest of it. This for me, like, this is a moment for me. Do you get what I mean? This is why I love to be able to, you know, put my makeup on and wear my lipstick for my YouTube videos. It's part of my personality and who I am. And so there will be content like the one that I shared today where I'm putting cream on my face, you know, dry face with toothpaste juice down my arm. Like, you know, I looked after, I was like, oh, well, I'll still go that regardless. You know, and so I think it's just a mix of that, and it's appreciating that however a person decides to show up is their choice and it's okay. But I do get the whole thing as well of having a mix and blend of just coming online like I did this morning and being like, hey, here's what I'm thinking about. So yeah, I get all the different sides of the coin.
Having a balance,
Yeah,
for sure.
definitely.
It's definitely something I teach as well. So.
You do, yes. And you live by it as well.
I do,
You do it too.
I do a bit of a mix.
Yeah.
Do a bit of a mix.
Definitely. What else you got for me?
What else have I got for you? So, what does a normal day of running ATHLETESIA actually look like?
Yeah, okay. I don't think there's a normal day. I actually don't think there's a normal day. It can shift and change all of the time. And so Mondays are the days where I kind of view it as, you know, Sunday night I'm setting myself up. Mondays it's where I'm like, okay, right, let's hone in and focus for the week, like mapping things out and stuff. But it can vary and it really depends what's happening. Like say, for example, there was a couple of weeks where I was working with my manufacturers in China, and literally as soon as I got online, it was boom, 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 like communicating with them, because probably around 11:30 the latest is when it's like the communication's going to be cut off, depending on what time they choose to finish. And so it's being locked into that. So I would say it just varies all the time. But, you know, I plan and map out my days and in terms of, you know, my 5 principles that I have. And that's how I look at things. So it's very much a case of, right, I want to be connecting in the morning. I want to be prioritizing. I want to be able to, you know, commit with what I'm working on. I want to, you know, be able to release. And I also want to be able to, why can I not remember? Prioritize, commit, complete, and release. Yeah, so I think I said it actually. Connect, prioritize, commit, complete, and release. And I also said that that doesn't necessarily have to go in that cycle, because I may also be connecting at the end of the day too. But one of the things that I've committed to, and I'm so disciplined about, is my day starts the same. So my day, I won't go into all of the details, but I'll get out of my bed, do what I need to do. And then I'll go in my front room and I will sit in my green chair. And that's where I'm going through the Bible app. And then I will read my book that I'm reading for 10 minutes, because I think reading for me in the morning is better. I find that I read better in the morning because it's like I'm fresh. When I choose to read in the evening, I can tell by the number of pages that I'm reading that I'm just tired and I'm not in it. And so connecting with God in the morning, number one priority, and I had to become disciplined with that. Then it's reading my book, and then I might choose to meditate for like 10 minutes, but if I don't do it then, I'll do it at the end of the day. But I would say those two are like the constant.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very impressive, actually, to have that. It sounds really silly as somebody that is self-employed, but to have that time in the morning to read. It sounds so silly.
No, do you know what? It's not, because I think before what I was doing is and it got to a point, the reason I had to get back on track, this is the thing, I fell off. And so I was getting to the point where I was waking up and I was like, damn, this email's come through, I've got to go to this email. And it was like, Danielle, this is not healthy for me. I don't want to start my day like that. I want to start my day slow and with ease, because I'm always, like my friend said to me the other day, she said, you're always on a mission. I'm known as that person who's always on a mission. When I go to Third Space and one of the girls was like, you know, yeah, you go ahead of me because you look like you're in more of a rush. And I'm like, it was within that moment, Danielle, slow down, like slow down, you know, everything is going to get done. And so I start my day slow to set myself off on the right foot. And so those 10 minutes of reading are important to me. And so I make time for that. So, yeah.
You've spoken about this before, and it really made me consider something of how I act, but the idea of us needing to rush everywhere.
Yeah.
When you're not even in a rush. And you're like, why am I rushing? Or why am I trying to do something I can't control? This morning, for example, got hit with traffic, and I was there like, I'll just speed. And I was like, and then not get there safely. It's like, why am I rushing? There's a car in front of me. It's going to drive that same speed. It doesn't matter how fast I go. I'm not going to get there any faster. So it's funny when we think about rushing. I think naturally we're always made to feel like we need to fit as much into our day as possible and as much into our time as possible. And so my question is, with your 5 principles, you've said no day for you is the same. You said each day is different. How do you manage having these 5 principles and being a super organized person with days that can feel quite random sometimes and things could change?
Yeah, and it's interesting because I guess where I said every day is different, and there is no normal, but I would say the constant within that is those 5 principles. That makes sense. It's the 5 principles that are the foundation of the day. But I think probably it's having grace for myself, I would say, because it's also knowing that whilst I have complete, and I've said this before in a video, complete might be completing it to the best of my ability today and picking it up tomorrow. And it's having that grace for that, because one of the things that I would say I find challenging as a completer finisher is wanting to complete it today, tonight. And that's not always healthy. And so I'll give you an example. My brain races a lot because there's so many ideas and so many things going on. So I now have this thing where I place my phone in a certain place in my bedroom and I don't go back to it until I wake up. And so that's really helping. But there was one night and I couldn't sleep. And I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm actually just going to get out of my bed and go and work. And this was at 2 something in the morning. And I'd done it because I thought, I'm not ready to go to sleep yet because my brain has so much going on. And I know there are different tactics and stuff that you can use to go to sleep. I use breath work and stuff like that. But within that moment, I was like, that's not working.
No.
And so I got up, I worked, I got out what I needed to, and then I was ready to go to bed and I slept. So this is what I mean as well. It's shifting and changing according to what your mind and your body is telling you. But then I am also big on ensuring that I am getting enough sleep, because sleep is so, so important. And at one point I wasn't. So, yeah.
Wow. Okay, yeah. Where did these principles come from?
Do you know what? It was reflecting on literally how I operate. That's all it was. It was reflecting on how I operate and being able to put it together and being like, that's what it is. And that's what it looks like each day. And the release part is being able to say, okay, cool, this happened, this is what I'm grateful for happening today, whatever the case may be, and just setting that aside. But with the example that I just gave, it's also having the grace to know, giving yourself the grace and space to be like, sometimes that's not always going to be the case, and that's okay. And what I'm trying to demonstrate here is that whilst I operate in a certain way, sometimes it doesn't always look like that. Sometimes it is different, and it is okay for it to look different. And so I want people to understand that as well, because it's important. So yeah.
Oh, for sure. I think it's really important for people to know that.
Yeah.
Really, really, yes.
Yeah. I'm not like this, perfect human being. Like, I'm really, really not.
Although you feel like pretty close, Danielle.
No.
Very, very, very organised. I feel like we've already kind of spoken about this, about walking through the 5 play, how the 5 play out on a Monday.
Yeah.
But tell me about the planner that you're building.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Do you know, I was actually meant to bring it today and I forgot it.
Oh, want to see it.
I know. I showed it to you on screen, but yeah, I didn't bring it with me. So basically, right, let's go back. So when I spoke about in a previous video about having She's So Audacious, which was a notebook, and obviously didn't do any of the business 101 stuff for it, and it flopped. And so anyway, spoken about that multiple times. But one of the things at the time that I really wanted to have is a planner. And I have the example of that planner. And now it's evolved. So it's evolved into a new planner that is based on the 5 principles that I operate by. And the reason why I created it is because I was like, okay, cool, this is how you operate, but how amazing would it be to have a space for that each day to write in? And I think there's different schools of thoughts. A lot of people, they use notes on their phone, and I have a whiteboard, but there is something about writing things down that just brings a totally different side of energy. But also because I used to be one of those people where I was so hardcore with goals and writing them down. And then when I didn't achieve them, I would feel so awful. And I would literally rip up the pages of my goals. And I just kind of thought I was putting too much pressure on myself. And so the reason why I've created this planner is I wanted to create something where it didn't give that level of pressure. It's not dated. Start it when you want, finish it when you want. You might do it on a Monday, and then you might pick it back up on on a Wednesday, and that's okay. And so that is really the whole purpose of this planner, is helping people who are in a space where they want to be able to, prioritize, commit, complete, release, and connect, but they're not really too sure how to go about it. And so that's why I created the planner, and I'm not really too sure when it's going to come out. I've got one at the moment, so I'm going to be marketing that, and obviously, getting what I need from it in terms of understanding people's feedback from what I market, and then making a decision from there. But it's not coming anytime soon, but who knows?
Who knows? Who knows with you, though?
Yeah, who knows?
Who knows with Danielle?
Might be here at Christmas. No.
We don't know.
Exactly. So, yeah.
It's very exciting. It's like people are getting a tiny slice of you, aren't they? It's like, okay, here's how to operate as a highly successful, functioning founder. Like, here's how to. No, I'm trying to say the words are not coming to me. As a successful founder that is able to function at a level that allows her to do all the things she needs to do in a day. I think that this is going to be a really, really good tool.
And I think, look, it's not even just for founders as well. You could be just, somebody who has a career as well, and you want to know how to operate in a way that's going to be more supportive of helping you to move forward in whatever you choose to do. And that is why the planner is there as well. And I think, look, you mentioned something about a highly functioning and successful founder. I'm still new to this. I'm so new to this. And my business coach once said to me, she feels like I don't give myself enough credit, and probably sometimes I don't. But I feel like I'm always going to have more to learn. I'm always forever going to be a student of everything that I'm doing. And me showing up like this, I just don't want it to get kind of misconstrued, like I'm that person who has made it to a certain point, because I'm still evolving every single damn day. And I've still got so much to do and so much to learn. I've got a brand that hasn't even launched. I don't know what I'm going to be sitting in my green chair saying in 2027. I don't. Am I confident about ATHLETESIA? Yes, 100%, because I believe in it with absolutely everything that I have. But, I just don't know. But I also probably, from what I've just said, I do need to give myself a lot of credit for what I have achieved in life, because I don't. And I'm going to share something with you. And this is why the plan is important as well. And it links to celebrating yourself. My sister knows this because we speak about it often. I'm not very good at always celebrating myself. And so I'm learning to take those moments to celebrate myself, and when I do achieve things. And when I achieved my master's degree in human resources management whilst working full time, and I was doing that part time, I did not go to my graduation. And I didn't go to my graduation because I was like, yeah, but why? I've done it. I've got it. Let's move on. I've got a job to do. And I kind of look back at that, and I do regret that moment, to be honest with you, because I feel like it was such a huge achievement for me as someone who had left school with not necessarily the best grades either. And I had worked so hard for that whilst holding a HR job. And yeah, I should have celebrated that for sure. I really, really should have. And so I'm learning that about myself, to give myself credit and acknowledge when people say things to me and not downgrade it. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, because you definitely do need to give yourself more credit. Like, I say successful, I say someone that's really, really functional in the sense of knows what they're doing, is organised, planned, because that's what I see in you. There's so many wins that you already have before even the launch of ATHLETESIA that I think you should celebrate, and I think are inspiring to people. They're definitely inspiring to me. So yeah, that's why I say that is I think there's so much success that you've already had with everything that you're doing. So just on a personal note, for sure.
Thank you.
No, of course. I think it's important to look back at those things. And in your gratitude journal, I guess, as well, thinking about it, like,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
wow, definitely.
Thank you.
Of course.
Oh my gosh. All right. By the way, we are doing this in one sitting. That's why our clothes are not changing. And so I'm like, okay, have you got everything that you needed to, Kashiba, so we can have a break before
Yes.
the final one?
I think we do. I think we've covered everything here.
Yeah.
So thank you so
Amazing.
much.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed part 3 of this series, and we shall see you in the final one, part 4. Thank you.
That's so. Oh, Danielle, I'm learning so much.